Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome. I'd like to welcome our, first and foremost, brave members of Los Angeles World Airport, police officers and civilian staff, our fellow partners in law enforcement, public safety that are here today, our incredible LAWA team, to our neighbors, to our friends, to members of the media who have come to us. Everything is perfect today, even the rain in a drought moment that we're living in. To see this, the finest facility probably in law enforcement in the United States of America today, an opening that we have all been waiting a long time for. There have been a lot of ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings at LAX. And I should have said, they didn't have any money left for a real MC, so I'm your MC today because I work for free. But there's a lot of pride, I think, that we all feel in our airports and the work that this team has done in recent years. And we all hold a lot of pain from the last 2 years of this incredibly difficult time we've lived through during a pandemic. But when you think and look at this building, at the beginning of the pandemic there was nothing here. And now as we come out of the pandemic, this shows what we are still capable of as a city, what happens when we come together and we prioritize safety for everyone, and what we can do to make Los Angeles the best destination and best home anywhere in the world. And we're making a kind of investment that isn't happening anywhere else in America. This police force is the size of a mid-city police force in America. This airport is the third busiest in the world. And we're investing $15 billion, that's with a B, dollars, in making sure that the LAX of tomorrow is the best airport that it can be. Building or renovating 10 terminals and concourses, each as big as a medium-sized American airport, and finally connecting public transportation through our People Mover and Metro to our airport. And today we're giving our world-class airport police the headquarters that they deserve. This department will have a home, not spread out in 9 different places, but one place here together. We're consolidating police operations to make them more efficient, to make sure that our men and women see each other face to face more often. And across 6 miles where we have those buildings spread out, we now have one place that people can come to, whether it's the personnel, whether it's the public, or whether it is the community. And all the latest technology and tools that we need to ensure people's safety will be right here, coordinating with our brother and sister law enforcement agencies right here. And I want to acknowledge the leaders that have joined us here and made this possible. When I served on the City Council, there was no stronger proponent of our Los Angeles World Airport Police Department and police officers than now Supervisor Janice Hahn. So please give her a round of applause and thank her for being here. I want to thank our Board of Airport Commissioners, our longest-serving commissioner and vice president and closest resident, our neighbor here from Westchester who serves on the board, Valeria Val Velasco. Give her a round of applause as well and thank her. And you can hold your applause to all the rest and you'll be hearing from these, but I want to thank LAWA CEO Justin Urbachi, who's been stellar, and his incredible team. Our chief, Cecil Rambo, you can give him a round of applause, and his command staff, and all the officers of the Los Angeles Airport Police. Let me thank Marshall McLean and the great union that represents and the board that represents our law enforcement officers. It's the most chill union I know anywhere. But you do an amazing job. Thank you for your friendship over these years, too, on a very personal level, for believing in my leadership. And to Jeff Brunswick, who you'll hear, the operations manager for Hensel Phelps. Didn't they do a hell of a job? I mean, I rarely say that at ribbon cuttings, but you really did walking through this. You've been doing a lot of work for our airport, and you delivered. And all of our labor partners, because it's easy for all of us to come at the end, those who are going to work here, those of us who are leaders, and say, we did this. But this was built by men and women, by their hands. So I want to thank the building tradesmen and women, most of whom are not here today, but who erected this. Give them a round of applause as well. I've witnessed the heroism behind the badge of the men and women of this department. I've seen it in our most celebratory days and on our days of our toughest and most tragic challenges. I remember shortly after becoming mayor in November 2013, the shooting that happened that took our fellow brother TSA officer, Gerardo Hernandez, as he sought to protect people from an active shooter. Our airport police were there instantaneously. They demonstrated a higher professionalism and courage than anything I had ever witnessed, as did their counterparts they called in, the Customs and Border Protection, LAPD, TSA, as well as our LAFD firefighters, the best department in the world, who came forward to try to save lives. It didn't surprise me, though, because I wasn't new to the city family. I've been witnessing for 12 years as a council member what this force and what this family was capable of. I've seen how they reflect the community and its diversity. I've seen their commitment and courage. I've seen as well their intelligence and the cutting-edge way they keep up with the latest trends in law enforcement. But that day drove home for me the critically important role that officers play every single day for the 88 million passengers who passed through LAX in 2019 before the pandemic, to make sure that we keep thousands of people who work here safe as well. And now with the new headquarters, this department's 550 sworn officers, 430 security officers, and nearly 200 civilian staff will have a space that respects you and that meets and matches the excellence of your service. This three-story building includes command staff offices, briefing rooms, classrooms, an amazing gymnasium I just saw, locker rooms, fleet services, canine facilities, and much more. And sustainable elements were built because we have to continue to do everything we can as we build buildings to make them as green as possible. Dual piping for future recycled water use, solar panel system that can be installed on the roof. And it was conscious of our neighbors in Westchester and Playa del Rey. Many community meetings were held to make sure that we listen to the community, and a great new community space in here is there for the community and for our partners to have meetings and to be able to keep those bonds strong. This facility includes that multi-purpose room, but it also has a kitchen for use, a green space on Westchester Parkway, and a mural by artist Francisco Letelier that will be installed later this month on a wall that's facing Loyola Boulevard. I'm so proud of all the extraordinary work underway, but you've heard enough from me. I just know that we'll have a gateway as an airport for the Paralympic and Olympic Games in 2028, that we will continue growing as the world's third largest airport, and that we will show something that reflects truly this city of angels. So with that, let me turn it over with the drama of the rain. She always brings, some amazing nature with her. She is a force of nature herself and a great defender and supporter of our airport and of our airport police department. Please welcome your supervisor, Janice Hahn.
Thank you, Mayor Garcetti. And yes, the rain has now started. I have no idea how we're going to get from here to where that ribbon cutting is, but somebody's going to figure it out. What a great day for our airport police officers. As our mayor said, LAX may be in the middle of major upgrades to become a world-class airport, but it has always been protected by a world-class police department. And finally, they have a modern state-of-the-art facility that not only makes it easier for them to do their jobs, but reflects the importance of their work and their department. And I know, Marshall McLean, this is something you have been fighting for as long as I have known you. LAX is not only the busiest airport in the country, it's one of the busiest airports in the world. And the millions of passengers who travel through LAX depend on our airport police officers to keep them safe. It's a hard job, and we know it can be dangerous. I will never forget the courage of Officer Tommy Scott, who was killed in the line of duty while working to protect this airport and everyone in it. I, to this day, wear a commemorative pin with Tommy's name on it. The work our airport police do is unique. They need special training, and they need to be focused on the mission of protecting our airports every minute of every day. And that is why I'm so proud that we've been able to keep the airport police independent and autonomous all these years. I remember when there were real efforts to end this department's autonomy. I felt so strongly that this department should remain independent that I wrote the airport police autonomy into our LA City Charter when I was on the Charter Reform Commission. There is one line in our city charter that says our airport police will remain autonomous and independent. And that charter was approved by the voters in 1999. And yet still, 6 years later, there was another effort to absorb the airport police into the larger agency of LAPD, and there was a charter amendment that was put on the ballot, and it was being pushed by then Police Chief Bill Bratton and the mayor at that time, who happened to be my brother. So we were on opposite sides of that issue. But guess what? We won. We won. We prevailed again because this department and its officers have done an amazing job protecting and serving the millions of travelers who come through our airports every year. So twice, the voters and residents of the city of Los Angeles saw the value in keeping this department independent and autonomous, and we will continue to fight that fight. I also was one of the big champions for making sure our airport police officer had full peace officer status, and happy to see that has happened. You know, they grew out of that old office decades ago, and it's about time that they had their new headquarters that they can be as proud of as we are of them. Congratulations, Chief Rambo. Thank you to the mayor, the leaders in the city council, the board of airport commissioners who got this project done on budget and on time. Congratulations. I love my airport police officers.
See, sometimes little sisters beat their big brothers, so it's all right, don't worry. Next up, as I mentioned, we've always been so closely tied to the community. As Councilmember Mike Bonin always said, we want a world-class airport that's a first-class neighbor. And the woman who probably ensures that more than anybody else, who served the longest of any of the airport commissioners and is our vice president, please welcome Val Velasco.
Let's see, it's still morning. Good morning, everyone. So great to be here. Thank you, Mayor Garcetti, and thank you, Supervisor Hahn, CEO Justin Urbacci, Chief Rambo, and Jeff Brunswick for being here today for this wonderful celebration of our law enforcement community. It's a beautiful day, isn't it? On behalf of the Board of Airport Commissioners, I want to thank everyone for being here today and for your unwavering support of our airports and your efforts to elevate LAX to the world-class airport Los Angeles deserves, as well as ensuring the safety and security of our employees and guests. It's no secret that this airport police headquarters has been coming for a long time. I remember when I first met with our then Chief of Police and our Chief of Homeland Security and our planning staff, and they said, we're proposing to build an airport police headquarters right at Loyola and Westchester Parkway. And I'm like, wow, that's right in the community. You got people living right next door there. Are you sure? And it looked like the perfect site. Our staff spent many, many hours canvassing, talking to all the people that live in the apartments here, talking to the students at Otis College, which is adjacent, talking to the neighbors that are closely adjacent here. And everybody wanted to have a police headquarters here, wanted to have police presence in our community, wanted to have our women and men of LAXPD to have a great facility from which to work. This facility is truly a jewel for the airport, and the surrounding area reflects the professionalism and quality of our airport police. When I drive down Westchester Parkway just about every day and see this beautiful building, I'm reminded of all the planning and community outreach and tenacity it took to get to this point today. I know the hard work that went into bringing this facility to life and the incredible dedication to the mission held by each officer and civilian staff member working within the building. From the beautiful paseos to an exceptional multi-purpose room, which our community members will be able to reserve for meetings, our neighbors have been integrated into the design and use of this facility. It has also been designed and constructed with sustainability at the top of mind, aligning with LAWA's Sustainability Action Plan, which is guiding our airports to boldly move to zero emissions. This facility has been designed to achieve LEED Silver certification and features numerous elements that will lead us to a greener future. This is an investment in today and our future. And as we look to the future of LAX, I can't help but think of all the women and men who came before those who are here today. We are opening the state-of-the-art facility at the same time that we celebrate 75 years of outstanding service to the traveling public by our Airport Police Division. Let's give them a round of applause. 75 years. Thank you to those who served in the past, to those who serve today, and to those that will serve in the future. And thank you to everyone here and in our communities for your continued support. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vice President Velasco. Thank you for your continued service and vision. Next, I want to turn over to our leader here at LAX. When he took over, we had seen airport travel crater in the midst of this pandemic. So he's already had the highest year-on-year increase of passengers of any CEO in LAWA history. He is somebody who has distinguished himself long before as a guy who could build things. And I'll say this, at the beginning of the pandemic, when we had to close so much down, one of the things I knew we could keep open and keep going was construction, because it was regulated, we could do inspections, and it was outdoors for the most part. And we were able to not only save those jobs, but accelerate this. Usually, you walk through a building like this, say, like, how many years did this take? 4 or 5 years? This happened during the pandemic, from soup to nuts. And that really reflects, I think, the leadership and the management of a visionary CEO. Please welcome Justin Urbacci.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's so great to see all of you here today. Really appreciate you coming out for this really great event. Thank you, Mayor, for the introduction, and thank you for your consistent commitment and leadership towards helping us really transform this airport into the world-class facility that the city is deserving of. So really, all of this is really because of your leadership, not only what we see behind us, but everything that we see over to our left and to the east. It's really a transformation of this airport, and all behind and because of your leadership. So thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. And thank you, Supervisor Hahn, for joining us today and for your constant support of our Airport Police Division. I know that everybody in the police department and at LAWA is very appreciative for all your support in the past and ongoing. So thank you for that, and thank you for your kind words today. And of course, thank you to Vice President Val Velasco and to the entire Board of Airport Commissioners for all of their support and all they've done to help to support and push this transformation forward, including there's really strong support for the police department and building, even in the midst of a lot of people thinking, as Val said, what is this the right place to put it? But thank you for your leadership with the community, and to helping us make this transformation acceptable into the community. So thank you for that. And I want to thank the community members in the audience today for all of your support throughout this process and ongoing with all the things that we're doing here to try to transform our airport. Thank you very much. And then, of course, thank you to our neighbors from the south, Scott from El Segundo, and thank you to all of our federal partners for all your support today, but also the great collaboration throughout this pandemic and always. We could not have been successful getting through this without all of your support as well, so I appreciate that very much. Today we're celebrating the opening of this airport police facility, which is just one of the latest achievements in the $14.5 billion modernization program here at LAX. It's a facility that is fitting for the largest and without doubt the finest airport law enforcement agency in the nation. I really want to take this opportunity to say how grateful I am to all of our airport police officers, our security officers, the traffic officers, and all the civilian staff here for the Airport Police Department who every day came here and done so much to keep our airports, our guests, and our employees safe and secure, especially during the pandemic. Every day they were out here and without any hesitation, and making sure that we had still the safest and the healthiest facilities here at LAX. And you continue to do that today. So without a doubt, your commitment and your dedication to our safety and security of this airport and all the people who work here and come through it is unprecedented, and for all of that, I thank you very much. I also want to thank everyone who had a hand in building this wonderful facility. We had more than 2,300 workers, 31% of which were from the local community, who had a hand in building this wonderful facility. And there were everything from project managers, electricians, pipe fitters, inspectors, plumbers, concrete masons, all of the trades, all the security experts, and everybody who had a hand in this building. Really want to say thank you for all the great work. Each person had a very important role in bringing this building into life, and we're really thankful for all their work. We also were led by a world-class construction team comprised both of our partners at Hensel Phelps and SOM, but also for our LAWA team as well. So I want to thank you, our LAWA team, for all the great work they did, to our design builder, Hensel Phelps, and the designer, SOM, and everyone, again, who had a hand in building a piece of our future here. And then, of course, I want to have a big thanks to Chief Rambo and his predecessors, Pat Gannon and Dave Maggart, who helped really shape this new facility. Their vision and tenacity over the last year has really helped to make all of this happen. So thank you. Thank you to the Chief and to the cast. And then one big shout out again to the community for their support, but also through their patience as we were building, constructing right next door to their neighborhoods and their homes. Thank you for your patience and for your support to make this happen. Really, this building is far more than just a police station. It's a game-changing facility that will really transform how our police division works, collaborates, and innovates. For the 1,100 sworn officers and security guards and civilian employees that make up the APD, it means having the right space, the right tools, and the right technology all in one place to allow them to be even more successful. And just over a month into its use, we've seen that this facility has already become a place where our airport division gathers to foster collaboration, to connect with our many partners in law enforcement, and to find ways to continually improve how we serve, protect the traveling public. So while this is really a beautiful and technologically advanced building, we all know that the men and women who work inside it are our real heroes. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. I say police force is only as good as its newest employee and its highest ranking officer. I always say that because it's a reflection of who a department is going to become and what it is at that moment. And what it is at this moment is a force that believes in the precepts of community policing, that understands some of the most cutting-edge technology when it comes to securing us from Homeland Security, from terrorist threats. And we've been very blessed to have a great chief here. And I want to thank him for inspiring and leading the men and women of this department, because it is not an easy moment to be a police officer. And all of us need to do all we can to let them know the heroes that they are and to tell those stories and to make sure that narrative continues. And I want to thank the community, too. Janice and I were saying, what community wouldn't want a police headquarters right next to them, right? But sometimes you'll find some people who won't. Chief Rambo, you have done an exemplary job not only leading this force in a difficult moment, but also delivering this as well. So please welcome our chief of Los Angeles Airport Police, Chief Cecil Rambo.
Thank you, Mayor, CEO Arbachi, Supervisor Hahn, Commissioner Velasco. First of all, I'd really like to thank all my officers and my command staff. If you could stand just to be recognized, we really appreciate you. If you're a retiree from the airport, thank you very much. Our retirees, thank you. Okay, thank you guys. We're honored to have you here today as we officially open our unbelievable new headquarters here. We're going to be showing you the facility if you signed up for the tour. I think you'll find it state-of-the-art. Thanks again to the Hinsel Phelps and all the folks that went into developing this project. This facility is a realization of a long-time dream for our division here at the airport, which has proudly served LAX for over 75 years. I want to extend my profound thanks to all of us who helped us get this program ready today and where we are today in terms of completing this facility. In designing this consolidated headquarters for our Airport Police Division, we wanted to create something that's worthy of those who serve on our department, serve on the front lines, and behind the scenes 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That includes our sworn officers, our traffic and security personnel, our professional staff, and everyone else who has had a hand in the safety and security of our airports, including our federal partners. I'm so grateful to each of you every day. Even in the most challenging circumstances, you show up every day committed to preserving the peace and providing the safest facilities possible here at the airport and at Van Nuys. Thank all of you for representing LAWA with pride, distinction, honor, and for putting public safety ahead of everything else. That dedication and that commitment is in the DNA of our Airport Police Department. For the last 3/4 of a century, the Airport Police Division has protected hundreds of millions of passengers, travelers, airport workers, and others from around the world. Over time, our airports have evolved, and so have the potential threats in the aviation field. We've stayed ahead of this by adopting more sophisticated techniques, adding an Office of Homeland Security and Intelligence, a bomb disposal unit, and a K-9, amongst others. Finding space for these additions weren't easy, and eventually the APD ended up with offices scattered throughout 5 acres of the campus. Today, thanks to all of this, the incredible facility, all of these units and others are under one roof and make it much easier for us to collaborate, communicate, train, and engage with one another. I know our friends at the FBI, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, U.S. Marshal Service, the TSA, and others are just as excited as we are to have an environment where collaboration can be facilitated. When planning this facility, we want to make sure that our officers have the most state-of-the-art facilities to call home. And one of the most unique features of this particular airport facility is our weapons practice range, in which we can drive a vehicle into the range and can train with officers who can go in and out of those vehicles and around the vehicles inside the range during the training sessions. Features such as these enable the next generation approach to our training and preparation. I want to thank all the men and women of the Airport Police Department who serve our guests and serve our community with distinction. And thank you for your continuing support.
Thank you, Chief. And finally, on behalf of the folks who built this, I want to thank, again, Jeff Brunswig, who's the operations manager for Hensel Phelps, who built this facility. When we bid these things, we always look first at price, but we also look at prowess, who has a proven track record, who can get it done, not just on time, but right now we're doing the leak test. That's why we have this rain here, but to make sure that this facility will last for decades to come. So please, thank you, Jeff, on behalf of the city, and come forward to speak a little bit about the building. Jeff Brunswig.
Thank you, Mayor. So I kind of want to start off a little bit. I was up here a couple years ago when we did the groundbreaking, but I want the Hensel Phelps team, the SOM team, and the LAWA project team to please stand up, because you guys all deserve a round of applause. So this is the group that made it happen, that put this facility in place through the pandemic, which is amazing for construction to get done during the pandemic. It was fantastic. I want to thank the Hensel Phelps team, obviously, SOM for the vision of putting this together, and then Lila's team, the LAWA program management team that kept us in check all the way through. So, you know, and kind of talk about numbers. Justin talked a little bit about we utilized 31% of our craft were from the local communities around LAX. That's amazing. We also want to highlight a couple other things about the local businesses, the small businesses, the disadvantaged veteran businesses that we utilize on this project, the small businesses. We put in about $135 million of this project went to those firms. So we're pretty proud of that. That's not an easy task. So I kind of want to close, like I said, I stood up here 2 years ago during the kickoff party, and I made 3 commitments. And hopefully we achieved every single one of these things. The first one was we looked at LAWA and we said we're going to do this job on time and under budget. So I think we got a check mark for that one. Right? And we looked for the community. We said we're going to be the best neighbors on a construction site that we can be. And hopefully we did that. Hopefully I didn't get any calls for dust or noise or any of that one. So hopefully we checked the box of being a great neighbor. And then the biggest one was we made a commitment that we are going to build a facility that the men and women of the Los Angeles Police Department would be happy to go to work at every single day. So hopefully we're off to a good start. Everybody likes to come to work here. They're enjoying their facility because it is an amazing, amazing project, and we're so happy to be a part of that. So I want to thank you.
So we're going to have tours of the new facility in a few minutes for those who haven't yet gone in or haven't seen all of its nooks and crannies. I encourage you to sign up so you can see it for yourself. Anybody need Spanish? Are you okay? All right, cool. So with that, I'm going to ask all the speakers first to join me on the steps for the ribbon cutting. I think it only really rains when Janice is speaking, like hard. So, you know, it's, again, force of nature, but we should be okay to do this outdoors. We'll invite the press to restage over there. Thank you all very much. Congratulations.